Welcome to the Bureau's long-range forecast for severe weather for October 2023 to April 2024. While severe weather can occur at any time of year, this is the peak time for heat waves, bushfires, tropical cyclones, severe thunderstorms and floods. In the months ahead, Australia can expect an increase in risk of heat waves and unusually high temperatures, an increased bushfire risk for much of eastern and southern Australia, peak tropical cyclone season, a normal risk of severe thunderstorms, and a normal risk of localised flooding when storms bring heavy rain and during the northern wet season. Global sea surface temperatures were the warmest in August 2023 for any month since records began in 1850. Sea surface temperatures are forecast to stay warmer than average into early 2024. This has an impact on Australia's weather. On the 19th of September 2023, the Bureau declared an El Niño event underway in the Pacific Ocean. El Niño describes changes in ocean temperatures and weather patterns that typically shift rainfall away from Australia. In September, we also declared a positive phase of the Indian Ocean Dipole. This climate driver brings warmer and drier than average conditions in spring and early summer. Both these climate drivers are very different to recent years where La Niña and a negative Indian Ocean Dipole helped bring rain towards Australia. Over the past 3 months, we've had below average rainfall across southern areas and some parts of the far north. Recent temperatures have been very much above average across most of the country. Large areas across the south set many new high temperature records. Most water storages were fairly high at the end of September. However, the landscape is drying out, with soil moisture below average across large areas. These recent conditions, along with the current climate drivers and the long-range forecast, show Australia has an increased risk of heat waves this spring and summer. Severe and extreme heat waves can be very dangerous. Warm nights after hot days give us little chance to cool down, and heat stress can be a significant risk to health. The long-range forecast shows a high chance of unusually warm temperatures for most of Australia until at least early summer. There's also the possibility of marine heat waves for waters around Australia. This can affect fisheries and other marine life. There's always a risk of dangerous and destructive fires in Australia at this time of year. The spring outlook from fire agencies shows an increased risk for large areas of New South Wales, Queensland and the Northern Territory, plus parts of Victoria and South Australia. Other areas have a normal fire risk, and this risk may increase by summer. With warm and dry conditions forecast, now is the time to prepare and review your bushfire plan, no matter where you live. This season, we're likely to have fewer than average tropical cyclones. The Australian region has an average of 11 tropical cyclones each year, with an average of 4 crossing the coast. The first tropical cyclone would typically cross the Australian coast in late December, but this can be later in El Niño years, possibly early to mid-January. In every season since reliable records began in the 1970s, Australia has had at least one tropical cyclone cross the coast. People right across northern Australia should be prepared for peak cyclone season. Although conditions are forecast to be drier than usual, there's still a normal risk of severe thunderstorms. Severe thunderstorms are more common during the warmer months, particularly in northern New South Wales, southern Queensland, inland Western Australia and across the tropical north. Thunderstorm asthma can also be triggered by thunderstorms, especially in southern Australia from October to December, when pollen levels are highest. Review your asthma or hay fever plan before pollen season. With below average rainfall expected, the risk of widespread flooding is reduced in most areas. There is still a risk of flooding when storms bring heavy rain. Localised flooding is always possible during any northern wet season. Stay up to date with the latest warnings on the Bureau's website or the BOM Weather app and set up your warning notifications. We issue warnings for fire weather, floods, heat waves, tropical cyclones, severe thunderstorms and more. Our new tropical cyclone forecast shows the anticipated location and the chance a tropical cyclone will develop into a tropical cyclone up to 7 days in advance. We issue a track map for each tropical cyclone likely to affect Australia so you can make decisions to stay safe. View the forecast on our website and follow all advice from your local emergency services. Severe weather can develop quickly and threaten lives and property. You can reduce the impact of severe weather by taking time to get ready before it happens. Know your weather, know your risk. We also share warnings and forecasts through print, broadcast and social media. Please stay safe.